In the Natural History Museum's Hall of Evolution, between the dinosaur bones and ancient artifacts, stood Stanley, the most talkative skeleton nobody could hear during the day. As the museum's night watchman, technically, he was an educational display. Stanley took his job very seriously, even if he was stuck on a metal stand. "Another fascinating day of being completely still," Stanley muttered as the last visitors left. The moment the lights dimmed, he stretched his bony arms with a satisfying rattle. "Oh, that's better. Being posed in educational stance number 3 all day really stiffens the joints." Stanley's nightly routine began with his favorite activity, practicing different poses. Perhaps something more dramatic? He wondered, attempting a warrior stance that nearly toppled his display stand. Note to self, hip bones aren't meant to twist that way. His best friend was Rex, the T-Rex skeleton in the main hall, though conversations were limited since Rex could only speak in roars. Their usual exchange went, "How was your day, Rex?" Roar. "Really? Mine too." One night, a new installation arrived, a computerized interactive display about human anatomy. Stanley was horrified. "Look at that posture! That's not how you demonstrate proper skeletal alignment at all," he complained to his reflection in the glass case. During his rounds, Stanley liked to visit other exhibits. He'd chat with the Egyptian mummy, who was rather wrapped up in himself, debate philosophy with the bust of Socrates, bit of a know-it-all, and trade jokes with the fossilized trilobites. They had a rather prehistoric sense of humor. Stanley took pride in keeping everything organized. He'd straighten crooked paintings with his ulna, dust display cases with his metacarpals, and use his clavicle as a lever to nudge misplaced items back into position. "A tidy museum is a happy museum," he'd say, though his methods were admittedly unorthodox. His biggest challenge was the school groups that visited during the day. No, young man," he'd think as children pointed at him. "I have 206 bones, not like 100 or whatever. And please stop asking if I'm real. I'm as real as, well, a talking skeleton can be." One night, during a particularly spectacular moonlit display through the skylight, Stanley decided to organize a museum talent show. The suits of armor performed a synchronized walking routine, quite clanky. The stuffed bird sang an a cappella medley, surprisingly harmonious, and Stanley himself delivered a bone-tickling stand-up comedy routine. "Why don't skeletons fight each other?" he asked his audience. "They don't have the guts." The stone statues groaned, but the fossil collection found it humorous. Stanley's most embarrassing moment came when he got the hiccups during a special nighttime tour. Each hiccup made his bones rattle, and he had to pretend to be shaking from the air conditioning. The mammoth never let him live that down. He kept a diary of the museum's nighttime adventures, written in calcium deposits, very difficult to edit. His entries included Day 1, 247, still can't convince Rex to try yoga, and Day 1, 248, discovered I can play xylophone with my ribs, museum guards not amused. During a renovation, Stanley was temporarily moved to storage. He spent 3 days organizing the other stored artifacts by age, size, and how likely they were to appreciate his puns. When he returned, he had a new appreciation for his spot in the Evolution Hall, even if it meant maintaining the same pose all day.